Welcome to the January 19th meeting of the Folsom Cordova Unified School District Board of Education. Superintendent, will you take the roll?
Yes, Ms. Perez.
They're in the back eating.
Oh, they're here.
Okay, and Mr. Rivastov? Mr. Reed?
Here.
Mr. Hui?
Here.
Ms. Lorette?
Here.
Mr. Clark?
Here.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Here.
All are accounted for. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And the board will be recessing into closed session to address the following matters: student matters, employer-employee relations, conference with legal counsel regarding litigation, conference with legal counsel, existing litigation, specifically related to paragraph 1, subdivision D of Government Code 54956.9 in the matter of Folsom Cordova Unified School District versus Rainforth Grau Architects. Also, conference with real property negotiators, and finally, personnel matters. Is there any public comments related to closed session? None in person, any online? None online? All right, then we will be recessing until 6 p.m. sharp. We will be back in open session at that time. Welcome to the January 19th meeting of the Folsom Cordova Unified School District Board of Education. If you would please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, a broadcast statement. A broadcast and recording is being made at the direction of the board, and the broadcast may capture images and sounds of those attending the meeting. The meeting is being live streamed on the district's YouTube channel. Folsom Cordova Unified School District Board Policy 1313 promotes mutual respect, civility, and orderly conduct among employees, parents, and the public. We will treat staff, parents, and members of the public with respect and expect the same in return. If any member of the board uses obscenities, if any member of the public and board uses obscenities or communicates in a demanding, loud, insulting, and or demeaning manner, the board will calmly and politely admonish the person to communicate civilly. Public comments during board meetings are an important component of public engagement and transparency, and all written comments submitted to the board by 3 p.m. today have been read. Per the Brown Act, the board is not allowed to enter into two-way discussion on any matter not on the agenda. The superintendent will call roll for the board to acknowledge receipt of the electronic comments submitted by 3 p.m. today as it pertains to today's board meeting. Superintendent, please call the roll.
Yes, Ms. Perez?
Here.
Ms. Rivastov?
Here.
Mr. Reed?
Here.
Mr. Hui?
Here.
Ms. Lorette?
Here.
Mr. Clark?
Here.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Here.
Motion carries 5-0. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Takes us to agenda item 5, reporting out of closed session. Superintendent?
Yes, we do have action to report out of closed session. The board voted unanimously to approve a disciplinary settlement and resignation agreement for a district teacher, employee number 601492. Pursuant to the agreement, the teacher will remain in paid status through May 26, 2023. Thank you.
All right. Agenda item 6, adoption of the agenda. Do I have a motion?
I'll move.
Motion by Mr. Hui. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Lorette. Superintendent, take the roll.
Ms. Perez?
Aye.
Ms. Srivastava?
Aye.
Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Hui?
Aye.
Ms. Lorette?
Aye.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Thank you.
All right. Agenda item 7, special presentations. First up, students. Recognition of fall sports teams and coaches. Superintendent?
Well, it's a very exciting evening to recognize our fall season of sport athletes and our coaches and our families. And I want to congratulate you on behalf of the district and the board for those individual performances and accomplishments, as well as team performance and accomplishments. We know that what you do on the field or on the court or on the golf course or on the tennis courts doesn't happen in a vacuum. It happens with the support and time commitment of our athletes, our coaches, and our families. So a big thank you to all that help support and lift up our student athletes. And I'm going to invite Mr. Peter Maroon to come and recognize our teams, our middle school and high school teams. And we'll have them come up and receive their certificates and then take pictures by school site. Welcome, Mr. Maroon.
Thank you, Dr. Collegian and members of the board. My privilege to be here tonight to recognize our fall sports accomplishments and outstanding performances by individuals as well. I think, when we talk about athletics and what it means to our students in our community, I think the one word that really resolves it is grit. And a lot of these athletes put in a lot of time, effort, energy, and they don't do it for the short period of time. They do it for the extended period of time. And a lot of them made commitments over a period of years, ever since they were in elementary school or junior high, and now at the high school level. And with that, I thought we'd start by recognizing Sutter Middle School. Their junior varsity boys volleyball team won the Foothill Athletic League. The Foothill Athletic League is now, in addition to Folsom Middle School and Sutter Middle School, they've also added Mills and Mitchell, in addition to Camarado, Marina, and Rolling Hills. So it's a very competitive league, and it's awesome for these young men to be recognized for their accomplishments. I don't know if their coach is here, but I know Mr. McPhail is here. There he is in the back. Coach, come on up. Congratulations, Coach.
Thank you.
Do you have any of your athletes here too?
Yes.
Athletes, come on up.
Come on, boys.
Athletes, come on up. You guys get right in the middle of the podium there. There you go.
Okay.
Back up a little bit in front of the board. Yeah, face this way. You might want to get a picture. And if parents, if you're here and want to take a picture, you're welcome to do so as well.
Sometimes it's easier if you kind of squish in a little bit. Yeah, and you can also double up too. You can have like two rows, a front row and a back row, just so that everybody.
Shall we go down?
There you go.
What did I say?
I think we're going to join you, by the
Well,
way.
I think,
We're going to do one big one at the end.
Oh, are we?
good.
Yeah.
Okay, all
Let's-
right, all right.
Yeah.
I don't want to stop progress.
I want to get out of the way.
I'll be all right.
Okay, there we go.
Thank you.
We could.
If you stick around, we're going to have you guys come back up one more time, take a picture with all the board members. Sutter Middle School, congratulations. The next school to recognize is Folsom Middle School with their varsity girls volleyball team, and I had the privilege of watching them a couple of times. And I got to tell you, I don't know how the coach did it, but he really had two starting teams because they were so loaded with talent this year. So it was outstanding to watch them. Coach Mack, are you up here? There we go. Coach, coming up with your athletes. Again, Folsom Middle School for the varsity girls volleyball team with the Foothill Athletic League champions. Joined by Dr. Daniels.
It's not about me.
I'll do a quick picture and I'll get out of the way for parents. All right, 1, 2, 3. Thanks so much.
Hey, Mac, if you guys stick around, we'll do a big picture. Thank you. Next is Cordova High School. First, we're going to recognize our cross-country coach, Josh Groover, who is being recognized for being the Greater Sacramento League Boys Coach of the Year. Josh, come on up. Stay right here, don't go anywhere. Also, Coach Joseph Smith, he's the volleyball coach, also being recognized by the Greater Sacramento League for being Coach of the Year. I'm not sure if Coach is here. Okay. Ms. Brown, are you here? Come on up, you can accept it for him. And then we have several players who were recognized as All-League from the GSL. Yeah, here, you read them off, I'll pass them out. How's that? Here's the list, you can go right off of that. I don't know if they're all here, but.
Stephanie Santana. Marissa Santos Vargas. Adeline Wright. I'm gonna kill this name. Daniel Insco. Did I say it right? Aiden Gregory. Carl Anderson. And Osvaldo Bernabe Angel, sorry.
And football.
And we're moving to football now. Kevin Lewis. Fabian Arlanos Perez. Michael Brown. Angel Riviera. To golf, Sierra Adair. Christiana Lorette. And volleyball, Kalia Savaron. Did I say it? I'm so sorry. And Jada Parada.
Again, 2 coaches of the year from their league, as well as all league from Cordova High School. Thank you folks for being here and congratulations. Okay, next up is Folsom High School. We're going to start off by recognizing the varsity football team for being the Sierra Valley League champs, the CIF SJS Division I section champs, and the CIF NorCal Regional Division I AA runner-up. Coach Doherty, come on up. We also had a number of athletes from the fall for their Division I or League, All League. And the first one is Nathan Short from the cross-country team. Nathan was also the most valuable player of the year for the Sierra Foothill League and the Division I section champ. Thanks, Coach. Stay up here. And then Ethan Smith was also all league for cross country for the Sierra Foothill League. And I'm going to ask the AD, Mrs. Finley, to come on up and help pass these out, if she will. Yeah, you know, we always give recognition to the athletes and the coaches, but I think sometimes we forget the athletic directors, how much work and energy and time they put into this. So, Lisa, you want to just go down the list?
Yeah, I sure will. Sure, right there. Sorry, I'm really short. All right, and I just want to say thank you to Mr. Maroon for organizing this every season and the board for letting us be here. Thank you so much. All right, I'm just going to go in order here, not really the order they're standing in. So Rico Flores, MVP. Quarterback, Austin Mack, SACB Player of the Year. Diallo Washington. Diallo? No, okay. Mason Norberg. Ontario Smith. Greco Carrillo. Slade Wilson. Theo Griley. There we go. DJ Brown. And that's it for that list.
So this is the 2022 Folsom football varsity section league champs, as well as NorCal Division I AA runner-up. Congratulations, guys. You're hiding out in the back? Okay. Is there any parents who want to take pictures? Angela, you want to come out and take a picture?
Here, I'll do this.
All right, everybody.
Looking at the
Look over
camera.
here. On the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. All right, congratulations.
Good job.
You guys stay up here, stay up here, stay up here. We're going to continue with other sports for Folsom High, and we're going to continue with the girls' golf.
All right. And so Sanvi Kati, and she's our first golfer to go to NorCal in a very, very long time. But she's not here. Amelia, I'm sorry, this is one tough. Karnbenjong? Amelia Karnbenjong. No, they're not here, I'm sorry. And Ashley Benedict. And she got voted the NorCal Most Improved Player of the Year in all of Northern California.
Tennis, go ahead.
Okay, and then our one of our girls single winner of the Division I section championships. She won for the whole entire group. Jayani Digarula. Sorry, it's hard to say.
Her coach is here too.
Okay. And this is Coach Kelly Borges. Okay. And we had one of our volleyball players make the all-league team, and it was Addie Kanegeiser. Don't think she's here.
Congratulations, Folsom High School, and continuing your success in fall sports. Thank you guys so much for all you do.
Take a picture because we have some new additions.
I can.
All right, right here, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and I'll stay out of the way in case.
Thank you, guys. Don't go too far. We got a group picture coming up. Oh, one more here.
Stay there, guys. You also go there. You guys
Sure. I'm short.
Thank you.
And last but not least, Vista del Lago High School. And I'm not sure if Dr. Moore is here or anybody from administration from Vista? Oh, there she is. So first of all, Vista del Lago boys cross country team for being the Capital Athletic League champs. The girls cross country team for being the Capital Athletic League champs. The girls golf team for being the Capital Athletic League champs. And the girls tennis team for being the Capital Athletic League champs. And then individual all-league athletes for cross-country, football, golf, and tennis and volleyball. And do you have? Cross-country, this is Nick Granger, all-league. John Paul Pekka, all-league. Dominic Ginito, All League. I hope this young man's here. Edwin Huey, All League, cross country. Brenna Minion, cross country, All League. Addison Long, cross country, All League. Ella Wakefield, cross country, All League. Laura Lucina, cross country, All League. And the football team for All League, Logan Goldsmith. Johnny Coate. Thomason Keegan. Caden King. Matt Long. Brandon Nasworth. Cruz Santero. Hunter Williams. Girls Golf, Sabina Hahn. Abigail Lynn, Girls Golf. Christine Yu, Girls Golf. Abby Markel, Girls Golf. Sorry, Girls Tennis. I skipped into tennis, sorry. Sorry, Abby. Alicia Mark, again, Girls Tennis. Kaylee New, Girls Tennis. Clarissa Sutumi, Girls Tennis. And girls volleyball, we have Alex Anderson. Kaya Franchier. And Kaya was also the most valuable player for the Capital Athletic League. And as well as Layla Hoot, and she again was an all-league for the Capital Athletic League. Congratulations to Vista Del Lago High School, and thank you guys for being here. If you guys want to squeeze to the middle so we can get a group picture.
Look over this way. All right, thank you.
Okay, we're gonna organize one giant picture. So Vista, if I can get you guys to congregate right over here in front of Mr. Martin. Folsom High, if you can come up and kind of spread yourselves out in the back again. Yeah. And Cordova High, if I can get you guys to the right over here by Mr.
Some
Huber.
on the back, there's no way they're gonna fit here.
Okay.
Maybe for the Folsom guys in the back.
You want the,
Yeah.
We're gonna
Okay.
have the kids.
Yeah,
It's
and
too
then the
many.
board in front, there's
Too many kids.
got you. Hey, can I ask you guys, sorry, Folsom High, can you guys get up on the podium in the back? And board members, can I get you to come to the front? Cordova, you're over here to the right. And then Sutter and Folsom Middle, if you guys would join us right back here in the front. You guys come right up front.
How about the clothes, you know?
Put it down.
Everybody's holding their smiles so well. A little longer, a little longer. I want to make sure I get one from the district, okay? All right. Oh my, I'm gonna have to go back. I don't want to get in the way. All right. If I could just grab a quick picture and I'll get out of everybody's way after this gentleman here, we will be good. All right, hold on 1 second. 1 second. I gotta keep going back. All right, good smiles, everybody. 1, 2, 3. All right, parents. All yours.
Coach Jordy, you didn't do the photo.
Jordy, what are you doing?
He didn't. How much you clean? Hey, look at. Shut up and smile. I can see myself.
Thank you, athletes and coaches. And athletes, I can definitely see you guys are photogenic.
Look, that's us.
Nice Bedford.
So this is pretty simple. It's always
I'm gonna go to McDonald's and then get a
if it goes all the way to 0, there's
Congratulations again.
I didn't know that was gonna work out for a photo.
Oh, of course.
you'll figure it out.
There you go.
And then of course it's the
Hey, by the way, just want to let you know it's a good gesture. Thank you for doing this for the students. Appreciate you guys.
All right. Next on the agenda is agenda item 8, public comment. This is an opportunity for anybody who wants to address the board on any topic that's not agendized. If you're looking to speak on an agenda topic, you'll have an opportunity to speak when we get to that agenda topic. All right, we have some cards here, and well, the first one is a true honor. Zach Ford. Zach was on our board for 8 years and served in as president, I think, at least 3 times during that 8-year time period. 2? Okay.
Yeah. Thanks for the extra credit, though. I appreciate that.
No worries. Zach, welcome back.
Well, thank you very much. Just a few things. District parent from Cordova, most importantly. Former school board member, least importantly. 3 things in order of most important to least important. First, just thank you for the education my kids have received over the last few years. I definitely know it has been a difficult time. Definitely dealt with some difficult times during my 8 years on the board, but COVID was a completely different beast. And I think that the district handled it very well. So congratulations and thank you. Two, welcome to the new board members, Ms. Lofthouse, Ms. Larrett. Welcome to, glad that you're able to join the board, and it's nice to see new blood on the board as well. And Mr. Huey too, I haven't met you, but I know it's been 2 years, 2 years late, welcome. And, Mr. Clark and Reed and Dr. Collegian, it was, great getting to know you over the years, and you're an asset to our district, and it's great to see extra student members as well. Student voice is very important, so thank you for stepping up and doing that. And then the third, I loved serving on the board. It was a huge honor, but to be completely blunt, one of my dreams over 8 years was to get behind this podium, speak for 2 minutes, and then leave. Because I didn't have that ability. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna fulfill my dream tonight. But I wanted it more than anything else, just say thank you for the education my kids have received, and welcome the new board members. So thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker will be Luliana Fortier. Following, just so you'll know, the following will be Denise Howell after.
I'm going to be giving my 2 minutes to Hillary Beamish.
Hi, I needed a little extra time. I appreciate that Mr. Maroon actually set me up here, that he said that some of the most unappreciated athletic people in the district are the athletic directors. He single-handedly decided to remove one, the best one, at Cordova High School. Last week, Mr. Clark, or last month, Mr. Clark, you made the comment to Mr. Ogden about what the school is going to do about the lack of support for the football program. I don't know if anyone's been around the football program to see what Mr. Beamish has done for the football program and the amount of support and time and energy that he gave to those kids, to the coaches, to the program, that was just thrown away because of some agenda that we're not really sure what that is. The amount of time that my husband, who I've been married to for 30 years, and I know him pretty well, and I know his heart, and most people who don't like him usually don't know his heart because they don't take the time to get to know him. Mr. Moon tried to get rid of him a few years ago when he started with some falsified documents. If you want to see these falsified documents, he has them. There are some unfounded reasons why he was demoted, I guess you could say, to elementary PE. There are so many kids that have relied upon him over the last 7 years at this high school for not just athletics, but for emotional support, for food, for, shoes, for so many things. I do have more to say, but I'll wait till my official time is called.
Thank you.
Mr. President, was that 4 minutes?
No.
Because I thought she yielded.
Well,
Keep going.
Well, let's confirm. We had discussed actually about
right.
enforcing the 2 minutes and not granting other people to waive their time. We talked about that during our study session, which I know is a change because we have allowed that in the past. Maybe we can allow it one last time.
I was going to ask if it was possible to extend her time.
And then let the public know that going forward, we are no longer going to be allowing other people to cede their time to another speaker who's already spoken 2 minutes. So if you want to continue the second two, go ahead. Okay.
Thank you. I'm not typically a trend setter or a trend ender or whatever. it's not just football that Mark Beamish was involved in. It was all the sports. He gave tirelessly of his time and energy to every single sport. If I wanted to see him during any athletic event or time of period, I had to go see him. Date night was on the football field. I saw him with these kids, you know, and there was 2 men that were removed from the school because of certain things, lack of support, lack of supervision, whatever. And these 2 men actually had applied to be the football coach over the last 4 years, they were very qualified. These kids knew them, they trusted them, they loved them. The thing I know about my husband is he knows more about every sport than anybody. I mean, he could, and so he knows how to get what you're hoping for the school. But instead, you just keep looking somewhere else. And I don't understand why Cordova High School has to have the football coaches chosen by the district. I don't think that happens at Folsom or at Vista. So I'm just curious, and no other sport either. And when he was removed from Cordova High School, he was encouraged to stay and continue to coach softball, which he's coached for several years there. And my guess is because he's doing a really good job and that they're winning games and they're winning leagues. And so, you know, I don't know what this holds for him. I know these kids that he's interacting with now need him as much as these teenagers need him. But it's a shame. And again, if any of you want to talk to him, he's available to express and share the documents that he has that this happened to him. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker will be Denise Howe, followed by Courtney Heiner. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, President Reed, board members, and Superintendent Kaligian. I have a concern regarding the district leadership and a site leadership, specifically at Folsom Middle School. In the past, this school and its teachers have been recognized with many awards, but that is no longer the case. There seems to be a lack of integrity and honesty within the administration. How do you train integrity and honesty? You don't. In the court of public opinion, I would think an administrator who constantly blames others and threatens teachers, parents, and students isn't really someone that you can trust, and I don't think that's acceptable, and neither should you. Abuse of power is a form of bullying and should not be confused with leadership. An abusive administrator misuses the position to intimidate and coerce others to do things that they maybe don't want to do, that they know that are wrong, and they put them in fear of losing their job. Approximately 25% of the teachers at Folsom Middle School have left within the last 2 years. Under normal circumstances, a school uses maybe between 2 and 5%, and that is to retirement or for the teachers to better themselves. If you contacted the teachers who left, what would you find? I don't think that they bettered themselves. Leaving a school site for a lateral position or a lower position causes serious disruption, including loss of salary, benefits that are tied to seniority, retirement, emotional distress, and social repercussions. Perhaps they left to preserve their reputation and their license. Maybe they decided that since the district wasn't going to take care of the problem, they had to get away from the abuse themselves.
Thank you. Next, Courtney Heiner followed by Cordova High School student athletes.
Good evening, board members, student board members, and Dr. Kaligian. I too would also like to speak on Mark Beamish and the coaching staff at FCUSD and particularly Cordova High. As a graduate of FCUSD, it has propelled me to becoming a 5-time All-American and a national champion within the NCAA, as well as coaching at the Division II level. This is particularly due to coaches and athletic directors that I have had as an athlete. In order to produce and encourage athletes to compete at the next level, consistent leadership is absolutely key. For 5 years, I had the pleasure of working with Mark Beamish as my athletic director at Cordova High. During this time, Beamish was always supportive, not only in cross country and track, but also supportive as me as a coach. During the spring of 2022, I had a difficult challenge of a student who struggled with mental health and self-harm. Immediately, Beamish and Michelle Brown jumped to help guide me through this difficult situation. I was grateful I had the constant and strong enough relationship to turn to the both of them. Beamish is the type of leader that returns to Cordova High after work hours just so I can return track equipment back to the shed after an all-day track meet. There's no question that since COVID, there has been a lack of athletes coming out of Cordova High that continue to play at the NCAA level. One of the biggest factors of this is inconsistency. Over the years, we have burned through football coaches, and now the removal of Beamish and Coach Freeborn, softball and golf will also now be inconsistent. Unfortunately, it's the student athletes that suffer because of this inconsistency. We are directly minimizing the opportunities to compete at the next level. It is my hope that the FCUSD board will reinstate Mark Beamish as the athletic director and Coach Freeborn as the golf coach, and that Cordova High will be successful in helping these athletes reach the next level. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is the Cordova High School student athletes, followed by Michelle Mays. Welcome.
Good evening, Mr. Reed, Dr. Collegian, and board members. Thank you for allowing us to speak. We represent students and athletes from Cordova High. We'd first like to take a moment to thank Coach Beamish and Coach Freeborn for all the time and support they have put into Cordova High. They have been teachers, coaches, mentors, counselors, and an overall support system to the students and athletes at Cordova. They have spent countless hours with students and athletes over the years in class, on the field, and on the golf course. With that said, we would like to express our disappointment that they have both been moved to different FCUSD schools. We were saddened to return from winter break to find our teachers and coaches no longer at Cordova. It has caused disruption and uncertainty for students in our athletic programs. While we welcome new football coaches, moving Coach Freeborn and Coach Beamish, especially in the middle of the school year to accommodate our new football coaches, sent a message to the boys and girls golf and girls softball that our teams and student athletes are less important than the football team and their student athletes. While we understand that there is still an opportunity for them to coach, it's difficult having them not on campus. It is particularly difficult for us not to have an athletic director currently on campus, and we'd like to thank Vice Principal Brown for her work in keeping our athletics running during our winter sports season. We'd plead with you to reconsider the decision to move our coaches. We'd love to have them back with us at Cordova, and they have been amazing teachers and mentors, so we'd like them back at Cordova. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's see, Michelle Mays, followed by Emma Beamish. Welcome.
Hello, good evening. Thank you for having me here, and good to see everyone. Again, my name is Michelle Mays. I'm a kindergarten teacher at Mangini Ranch Elementary School. And just kind of wanted to bring some highlights to what's kind of the changes with all-day kindergarten going on in the district and the highs and the lows. And I do think we have a task force that's working together to kind of get some suggestions for what's going well, what's not going as well. And I'm really hoping that the board will really listen to the task force and to we invite you to come to our classrooms, to our sites, Folsom and Rancho side, and just to see what we do in our kindergarten classrooms. So anytime, my door's open. And I've been teaching since 2003, and there have been so many changes with kindergarten. I've taught the AM, PM, the slip schedule in Folsom and Rancho Cordova, 20 years of experience, and I am feeling like our jobs are just getting a lot more difficult. Losing my voice, been teaching all day without a substitute in the PM kindergarten. So, and I know we're looking at next year removing the second teacher of the kindergarten classroom. I know Title I schools have that going on now already. We have a soft cap of 24 with potentially going up to class size of 28 students. So if you think about that one kindergarten teacher with 28 students next year, okay, these are 5-year-olds. The curriculum has changed, standards might have changed. The students are still 5 years old. So to think of one teacher, myself, trying to wipe tears on the first day of school, assessing, teaching. I try to stay with kindergarten because my heart is in it. But when I question, okay, should I go to intermediate grades? The kids are independent. You're giving us there's a lot going on. And I really want to invite you to come to us. And I have a letter, I'm going to email it to you with a lot more points. But please invite us, come to our rooms, and we can talk with you. Thank you.
Thank you. So Emma Beamish, followed by Hillary Beamish. Welcome.
Sorry, I think that the decision to transfer Mr. Beamish and Mr. Freeborn is completely illogical. The kids at Cordova need them. Halfway through my sophomore year, I transferred from Folsom to Cordova. So I've seen the needs from students at both. The needs from the students at Folsom are more academic. They have access to a lot of things that people at Cordova don't. The kids at Cordova, they need an adult outside of their bloodline to be able to trust and to know care about them. Mr. Freeborn and Mr. Beamish provided a safe place for students where they could be vulnerable and get help with the things that they need, whether it was school related or not. Being the daughter of Mr. Beamish, I can say that he loves these kids as much as he loves me, and he loves me a lot. And why is it that once yet another football coach is hired, the 2 teachers that have applied and ever showed interest are then moved? And for a coach that's only won 10 games in the past 5 seasons kind of makes me laugh a little bit. But the issue here seems to be that the district, specifically the district athletic director, cares more about football than the students at the school. There are clearly some deeper things going on here, but you guys won, so congratulations.
Thank you. And final card, Calissa Fortier.
So just piggying back on what Emma said, removing Beamish and Freeborn from Cordova was probably the dumbest decision ever. They have helped me personally through so many things. They've helped my sister through so many things. They've helped so many people, not just academically and athletically, just helping them. Like, they'll talk to their parents. They've talked to my parents before about what I've going through. And being removed from where they're needed at and put at an elementary school with children when these are teachers that aren't needed for a high school is like, it's just, they were needed there for the kids and the teachers there, if that makes sense, sorry. But they have helped me through failing every single class ever and pulling me in at my lunchtime and having me do my work in there and everything. They were the most supportive teachers I have ever met, and removing them is just crazy. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any online comments?
Yes, we have J.E. Toms.
J.E. Toms, welcome.
Hi, I'm Julie Thompson. I teach kindergarten at Natoma Station. I've been there many years. I've been there. I was teaching when we were a slip session. I've done early late now. And next year, I do look forward to many aspects of a full day kindergarten. I really, really think that it's important that our caps be 20. I want you to imagine taking 20 kids, 25-year-olds to an event and trying to manage them. Now, think of those 25-year-olds, and you're not just trying to manage them, but you're trying to teach them to read in small groups, to write, to do math, to interact, to work together. And next year, we won't have our partner teachers with us. So teachers were able to fill out a survey, and unanimously, teachers asked for at least 2 hours of instructional assistant time in the morning with our students when we do our more academic work next year. And one thing I would really like the district to think about and the board to think about when thinking about staffing next year is to make sure that we not only have trained help in the classroom, but consistently trained help in the classroom. The same person every day working with my students will be so beneficial compared to somebody coming in 2 or 3 days a week and somebody else coming in on those off days to work with them. It's so important that we all know our students well and that the help also, the people who are helping us know our students well. And I think I'm out of time.
Thank you. That was only, okay. All right, that ends public comment, and that will take us to agenda item 9, reports of district organizations. We'll start with the Student Advisory Board.
At our previous SAB meeting, we had our Cordova High ASB media gal, Sierra Pena, film during the meeting, and she developed an SAB introductory video to have it published at all school sites. We then broke into our subcommittees and continued working on our projects that will be presented by the end of the school year.
And we also completed our policy recommendation for an equitable dress code. And we're also working with the curriculum and instruction team on creating a PSA video for students about the seal of biliteracy. And we're also continuing our planning of the district-wide international night on April 26th. And our next SAB meeting is on February 1st.
Thank you. Next, the California School Employees Association. Yeah, are they online? No? All right. We will move to the Folsom Cordova Education Association. Welcome.
Good evening and Happy New Year. I love the dais with Rocio's space on the end. It looks lovely. Good to see you up there.
Thank you.
Well, I just wanted to share, we've received a lot of feedback in the last couple of weeks since the special board meeting about the Rancho Cordova schools, the presentation that was given. So I just wanted to share with you some of what we had been hearing. It's our belief at FCEA that, that presentation should be repeated again at a regularly scheduled board meeting with complete transparency, allowing the public to hear it more widely and be able to comment. The board study session was only in person and not on Zoom or YouTube, so the public wasn't given that opportunity to the fullest extent. The Brown Act guarantees the public's right to attend and participate in meetings of local legislative bodies. Until that meeting, the public had been given the opportunity to participate virtually. It's an option that we really want to see continue so that we can fully engage our staff and families who can't attend in person. We know that many of you have included transparency in your platforms, and the virtual options just give full transparency to all stakeholders. I know the recording is now available on YouTube. It seemed to be a little delayed. We were kind of watching for it, and I did see that it was up now, so that's wonderful. Thinking maybe a message to the community might be appropriate so they are aware it's there and they can go back and watch it at their leisure. Again, we hope to see the presentation at a future board meeting so you can receive feedback, and that feedback can help to inform any decisions that the board needs to make on the subject. So I just wanted to share that. Then in other subjects, our first site visits of the new year were to Mather Heights and the charter school, the community charter. And it was wonderful to have a chance to talk with Mrs. Saul about some of the enrollment challenges that Mather has faced. We also have had a meeting with the Mather staff and the Williamson staff, just looking forward at community schools at the PYP program, trying to get direct feedback from them and help brainstorm solutions, what they feel will work for their staff and for their communities. So more to come on that, but that's something FCEA has been doing. And I know the Mather staff, we did spend a lot of time chatting with the principal and didn't get to that many classrooms, but I will say their staff is so dedicated to their students and really fully committed to that community that they serve. And then in closing, it's just a joy to be on the charter school campus. Mrs. Kirk is a hands-on leader. Her staff and her students are so lucky to have her there. She was thrilled about being able to work with student groups later that afternoon, which I thought was really great. We visited on workshop day, and that gave us the opportunity to see the students in their classrooms having face-to-face interactions with their teachers and their peers. And there was a great level of excitement and engagement in every classroom. We're really fortunate to have our charter providing such a wonderful alternative learning environment for our students to thrive in. And sorry I was a little long tonight, but have a good evening. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Superintendent, in the board recap that Angela sends out after each board meeting, might there be an opportunity to reference that the video from the study session is up online and available?
Yes, absolutely. We'll get that in tomorrow's board briefs.
Okay, thank you. Next is the Folsom Cordova Leadership Association. Welcome.
Hi, good evening, President Board, Reed, Dr. Collegian, and members of the board. For many of our school sites, January marks the beginning of a new grading period. School sites have begun reviewing behavioral and academic data from last semester and engaging with all of their staff about the progress and setting goals for the spring. Last week, the comprehensive secondary sites all met at Folsom High School for the master schedule Prepare to Build. During this two-day workshop, school teams comprised of many different personnel set up basically the skeleton of the master schedule. Building this complex schedule takes a team effort over many months and is one of the most important elements to providing a comprehensive secondary educational program. I want to thank Pam Oyen for her team effort to create this workshop, as well as Howard Cadenhead and his team for providing the space for that. Thank you.
Thank you. And finally, we have the District English Learner Advisory Committee. Welcome.
Last of the reports, but not least. Good evening, Elena Cabrera here. Welcome to hello, President Reed and Superintendent Collegian, members of the board, our students for sure, and my esteemed colleagues. I have a couple of items to report today. We had a DLAC meeting on January 10th, right after the return of the break. And of course we had to shift because we had some wonderful rain, to fill our lakes. So thank you for those of you who attended. As you saw, we had a robust agenda, lots to discuss, and many things to look forward to coming up real quick. So I'll list some of those things. The first of which will be a parent summit February 4th. And that parent summit will be focused on a data walk, and you'll see a series of other data walks. But on that February 4th, it is a dedicated time for all parents are welcome, but it is one parent summits that are, if you hosted by our DLAC. So that's something we're looking forward to, and looking forward to having your participation that day. Just a little background on the data walks. We focus on the dashboard, which is the state release data, and it's an opportunity to engage in that data. And really what's most important about all of that is the voice in the room of the students, of the parents, of our colleagues, our peers. It's a really great time to exchange our thoughts. One of the other things too that we've worked on with our parents and our staff, our teachers and support staff, is that we are starting LPAC testing, which is the English learner assessment that begins on February 1st, and it goes through the early part of May. So wish our English learners great success. We like to refer to them now as emerging bilinguals. And to that, I'll finish with our Seal of Biliteracy. While the Seal of Biliteracy isn't unique to DLAC, it's certainly as an emerging bilingual student, an opportunity to recognize the ability to have more than one language. But we also extend that in the state of California to all students who can demonstrate true biliteracy. And so please, early notice, and then we'll have an opportunity to congratulate. Folsom Cordova has participated in the State Seal of Biliteracy now over 10 years. And on the average, we have over 200 students that receive the Biliteracy Award. So it's a great honor. Thank you. And I'm happy to be partnering with our student board members and ways to extend the notice earlier. Thank you. That's our report.
What's the time and location of the February 4th data walk?
Oh, the time is 8:30 to 12, which is a normal parent summit time. And it's at Rancho Cordova Elementary. There is some invitations that should have gone out in the calendar, and there's also flyers, but we'll continue to make that be known. Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, that takes us to item 10, agenda consent. I would like to remove one item from the agenda consent, item, let's see, I, related to revised high school and middle school course outlines. Is there anybody else want anything removed from the agenda consent? All right, hearing none, is there a motion?
I'll move that we remove item I and otherwise approve the agenda consent.
All right, motion by Board Member Hui. Is there a second?
I second.
Second by Board Member Lofthouse. Superintendent?
Ms. Perez?
Aye.
Ms. Srivastava?
Aye.
Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Hui?
Aye.
Ms. Lorette?
Aye.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Thank you.
All right, so that takes us to item I on the board consent, which is approve new and revised high school and middle school course outlines. I asked this to be removed just because I think there's some exciting things going on here, and I think it might be nice for the public to hear about it.
Sure. When we have new or revised courses that are being proposed for the next school year, we bring them forward to our Curriculum Advisory Committee. And I want to thank those that are part of the Curriculum Advisory and Pam Oyen's leadership on that committee and our curriculum instruction team. And they have vetted 7 new courses that are very exciting, giving students more opportunities and access across the board, from academics to career technical education to dual enrollment. And Dr. Huber, did you want to add any specifics about these new or revised courses?
Yeah, just a couple. And actually, unfortunately, somehow we missed a couple in what was published, so I will need to correct that because I just caught it. My apologies. But for one of the things is we finally do have the dual enrollment agreement with the community colleges, which we are very excited about. And yes, yay, we've been working on that for many years. Again, COVID, I think Mr. Ford brought that up. COVID derailed us a little bit in that endeavor, but that has finally taken place. And so in the board packet, you'll have seen that we have College Success now as a class. We also have listed there some CTE courses that are being introduced in terms of health occupations. But there's also some other classes, again, that somehow didn't get listed. There will be an introduction to music. Rock and roll is one of the classes being offered. There's also a classic humanities class that our students will be able to take, as well as a biological anthropology class that our students will be able to take. So those are classes that starting next year, fall of next year, students at all 3 high schools will be able to have dual enrollment with the community colleges. Also, we have some CTE courses that are taking place now at Vista del Lago High School. We previously did not have those courses offered at Vista, so those are 2 new courses. The Advanced Careers in Manufacturing and the Trades are 2 courses that are being brought online to Vista del Lago High School. And then also there's the Garden and Forest course that's being introduced as part of the WHEEL program at Sutter Middle School. So there are quite a few offerings and some real exciting things on the horizon for us with Folsom Cordova, and courses will be offered for students.
Thank you. Any questions from the board? All right. Is there a motion?
I'll move.
All
Second.
Right. Who was the second? Okay. All right. There was a motion by Board Member Lorette, second by Board Member Perez. Superintendent?
Ms. Perez?
Aye.
Ms. Srivastava?
Aye.
Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Hui?
Aye.
Ms. Lorette?
Aye.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Thank you.
All right. That takes us to agenda item 11, discussion items.
President Reed? May
Yes.
I make an introduction
Oh,
based
please.
on the personnel
Yes.
report? Yes, the board approved the personnel report as part of the consent agenda, and there was an approval, actually at our previous meeting for the head football coach at Cordova High School, and is our practice, we introduce our new head coaches of all sports at our board meetings. So Coach Dollifer is here this evening. He wasn't able to be with us last meeting in December. But Coach Dolliver, if you'd like to come up to be introduced, I'll read a few comments here from your bio. Coach Dolliver comes to us from El Camino High School, where he led the team to success on the field, making the 2021 playoffs, and more importantly, creating a winning culture with a strong emphasis on character and high academic achievement. With over 30 years of coaching experience spanning from youth football to the collegiate level, with the last 8 years as a high school head coach, Coach Dolliver understands the importance of incorporating education, community, and athletics. And we welcome you to Folsom, Cordova, and to Cordova High School.
I thank you very much. I appreciate it. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I'm very happy for the opportunity. And you mentioned the academic piece. Sports is really built into the high school experience to help support academics, and that's what I really want to do. The most at Cordova High School is really impact the educational experience for these kids, because sometimes sports is that connection. It's that piece that links a kid's ability after high school to that actual high school experience they have. And I want to just help develop that from the ninth grade all the way through. And so I think that's what's really important for our coaches to concentrate on what's important. And that's the development of the child, not just on the football field, but in the classroom too. I think that's the kind of things that help me justify time away from my own family. I have 2 young daughters, and next thing you know, they're going to be in high school themselves. But I do feel like it's valuable to be able to spend time, really help cultivating these young minds, because we are such a big impact on them. We spend so much time with these kids, not just on the football field, but in the classroom, in the weight room. A lot of times we're, some type of strength for those children, right? Because they don't have that at home necessarily, and that's the reality. But I think that's why I do what I do, and I know I speak for the rest of my coaches in that same respect. So thank you so much for giving me the opportunity, and I can't wait to get to work. Appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, back to agenda item 11, discussion. We have a bunch of first reads of board policies. So let's, actually a lot of them are similar. So let's dive in. First one is a first read of board bylaw 9150, student board members. Superintendent.
Yes, this was reviewed with our policy subcommittee at the January 9th meeting, as were all the other policies that are coming before you this evening. This board bylaw on student board members was revised last year to allow us to have 2 student board members now representing our student voice as a board member with our governance team. And we have further defined through the input and voice of SAB that we would like those 2 representatives to be representing our student body from both Rancho Cordova and Folsom. And we wanted to make sure that that could be captured in our board bylaw, so there is that representation. So we did make 2 edits. If we can bring that board bylaw up, Ms. Dagnall. Can you bring up the board bylaw, please? Thank you. And that in the second paragraph, it does state that the new language that 2 student board members shall serve concurrently, representing 2 different high schools, one in Rancho Cordova, one in Folsom. However, we did add some additional language that we continue to review this no later than the 26-27 school year, or no later than 1 year before an additional high school is set to open. So we continue to evolve and make sure that student voices throughout the district are being represented equitably. So that's the first change to that bylaw. And the second one is about halfway down the bylaw under choosing student board members. And again, feedback from our policy subcommittee and our student board members is that student board members shall be chosen by the student body enrolled in the district's high schools in accordance with Ed Code, and that they'll be given the opportunity to vote for the board members, student board members that represent their community or represent the city or school of attendance. So that's a little bit different practice than we've had in the past, but we believe that will give all students the opportunity in Rancho Cordova to vote for their Rancho Cordova or Cordova High School student board member, and similarly in Folsom, all the students at Vista Del Lago and Folsom High School would be able to vote for their student board member.
Okay, let's start with the students. Any questions on?
I want to comment that I think this is really essential. Serving alongside Rocio, we've had so many moments together where we've realized that we just have completely different educational experiences. And I don't think that, a student from Rancho Cordova can adequately speak to the experience of a student at Folsom and vice versa. So I think that this is really important. And I'm wondering, Dr. Clegan, I know it's possible for a Kinney High representative to be a student board member. Okay, so I just really hope that, we can encourage students from all 4 high schools to participate and be a part of Student Advisory Board.
Thank you. Thank you for that clarification.
I just wanted to say as well that I am also grateful that we have made the first step into adjusting an additional student board member, and again, excited to implement this policy permanently going forward. I have an immense amount of pride as a Rancho Cordova citizen, as a Cordova High student as well. So, and just seeing how Rhea and I are sometimes polar opposites in our ideas is really essential. So, thank you.
Okay, Board Member Lofthouse, any questions? Board Member Clark? Board Member Lorette?
Yeah, just clarification on the portion that says student body. We're talking about a student body election. Is that correct? Okay, perfect.
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, Board Member Hui?
The only comment is thanking our student board members for really pushing this along to us. I think it's a great change and excited for it to come back to us. So I know you guys have worked really hard just to get this here tonight. So thank you.
All right. And I do not have any questions.
Mr. President,
yes,
it just dawned on me, are we including Walnut Wood as well?
Yes,
and maybe
will.
Folsom Lake?
Yeah.
Yes, well,
Okay,
all high school students in both
okay.
communities would vote for their student board member in that city.
Perfect.
Actually, I do have a question. This it just dawned on me. So any student, let's say at Folsom Lake, who was interested in running could run. How does that work when we're going back and forth between Folsom High and Vista for representation? And how does that work? Well, I guess that would, well, for Kinney, that would make sense because it would be Cordova or Kinney, but we'd be introducing a third school in that scenario, correct?
With Folsom Lake High School,
Yeah.
we would be, but we'd have one student board member representing. So I would think that maybe if there's a student board member that's coming forward from each of those schools, then the student body votes for those students because they all represent Folsom schools.
Right.
And then the one with majority vote is the one that would move forward.
But if we go from Folsom to Vista, back to Folsom to Vista, then if a Folsom High or a Folsom Lake student wanted to run, they could run on either cycle with the Vista or the Folsom?
It was my understanding that it does not mean to alternate.
No.
It's voted on by the students.
That's
Yes.
correct, yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
So
all
they
right.
would put forward their candidate for a student board member, and then the student body at each of those schools votes for the top candidates. So it may not go back and forth alternately. as
But
you're
wouldn't that create potential disparity if Folsom High gets, I mean, a larger population than Vista? How, because originally I thought we had talked about back last year about the seat going back and forth to ensure a balance.
Well, I think the campaigning part of this, well, we'll have to work out the specifics of what that looks like. Last year, we had representatives from each of the schools come together actually in this room and present their campaign speeches. So we might have to lean on technology a little bit more for getting the campaign messages, or right before the elections, the campaign speeches out to the students in all of our high schools in Folsom for whoever the candidates are for student board members.
So I assume when you have student body elections, the students can put up posters and things to advertise. So then we're going to allow the candidates from Folsom High to go up to Vista and put some posters and flyers out, and vice versa for Vista to come down to Folsom.
And that's ultimately what that would mean, but I think if we take it back to our SAB and
Yeah.
talk about the specifics, so there's understanding and, student feedback as to what that'll look like, and we can bring those specifics back. It doesn't necessarily have to be in the
Right,
bylaw,
right.
but it's more in how we carry out the practice this year. And this will be our first time doing it this way, but I think our SAB could probably outline those steps, and I'll share those with the board.
Yeah, and I also want to add that this is kind of similar to what other districts do, where they have many high schools and only have one student board member. And I think a lot of the times they tend to do a primarily virtual format. So they'll have a video that's played for every secondary student or something like that, a campaign video for each candidate, and then they vote based off of that. So it's definitely something we'll take back to SAB and discuss what the best way to go about doing it is.
Okay. And the students who attend Innovation Academy, would they be running in the Folsom, or would they be running in the Rancho, or would they be running based on where they live, since it's virtual?
That's a really good question. I think we'll have to work out that detail as
Okay,
well.
all right,
Yeah,
okay.
good question, though.
All right. All right, let's take it out to the public. Is there any public comment? Any public comment online? All right, let's see. Back to the board for any final comments, questions, or explanations. All right, I will just make a comment, and I want to make clear that I am voting for this, even though I disagree very strongly about electing one student from each city. I would just point out, I went back and looked at the numbers since we've, on the minutes that we have published. That takes us back to the 2011-12 school year. And since 2011-12, we have had more students from Cordova High than any other high school serving on this board. 46% of the time it's been a student from Cordova High, 38% of the time a student from Folsom High, 15% of the time a student from Vista. And the original idea of rotating the two positions among our high schools, would have resulted in 63% of the time that a student will always be from Cordova High, 63% from Folsom High, and 63% from Vista. The new system that we've created has a situation that Cordova High will have 100% of the time. And at least prior to tonight, I thought Folsom High and Vista were going to be at 50%. But we've now created a system that theoretically, Folsom could be 100% and Vista could be at 0%, given the population disparity between the two cities. So I'm not a fan, but I can count votes, and I know I didn't have enough votes on my side, so I respect that. So I am going to vote for it, but I did want to share what my concerns were on that. But I am happy that we did add the language that it would be revisited, because at some point, before we open a new high school in Rancho Cordova, we're going to be opening a third high school in Folsom, and that disparity even gets worse once we open up the new high school in Folsom. So, but I think having that language in the policy that requires the future board to come back and revisit that is a good thing. So, do we have a motion?
This is discussion.
It's just.
Oh, it's discussion. That's right.
These
I'm
are
sorry.
discussion.
All right. So let's move to item B. First read, Board Policy 0410, Non-Discrimination in District Programs and Activities. Superintendent?
Yes, and I'll just preface that the next 6 board policies are changes and updates from either legal updates, changes that CSBA has now reflected in some of the green revisions that you see in the policies, and also compliance related to make sure that we're in compliance for the federal program monitoring review that's coming up. So with that, I'll introduce Shannon Diaz, who is our Director of Compliance, who helped review these policies. She can answer any questions that you may have, but a lot of this is boilerplate out of CSBA's language. And we also reviewed these in detail at our policy subcommittee, but she can answer any of those specific questions too.
That's exactly right. I'm just here to answer questions, and if we look at Board Policy 0410, in the first paragraph, the major revisions are updating the groups protected from unlawful discrimination, and this, the Policy Committee requested that the protected groups reflect the district's Equity Policy 415, so those groups have been included here.
Any questions on that one before we move on to the next one?
Any questions from the public? Any questions online? All right. Next one would be Board Policy 1312.3, Uniform Complaint Procedures.
There appear to be many revisions to this, so I'll just highlight the major revisions. A new law passed AB 131 in 2021, which renumbered the code sections regarding license-exempt California state preschool programs. And a lot of the revisions as well represent consistency with CDE's 2021 to 2022 FPM instrument. That's the federal program monitoring. And then also on page 4, it adds item 3 and clarifies item 5. This is regarding complaints that will not be processed under the uniform complaint procedures. Specifically, item 3 requires that complaints that fall under the Title IX provisions are processed under the Title IX procedures, and that under item 5, it clarifies that complaints alleging physical safety concerns that interfere with a free, appropriate public education are not do not fall under the uniform complaint procedures.
Okay. Any board questions? Any public online? All right, let's move on to first read Board Policy 4030, non-discrimination in employment.
So the first revision there is on page 1, paragraph 1, and it's a minor revision to add the statement persons who are contracted with the district to provide services. That revision is made based on a court decision, Kennedy versus Bremerton. So that includes contract workers such as coaches in this non-discrimination in employment protections. And then on page 2 at paragraph 3, there was a new law, SB 331 in 2021, regarding making it unlawful for the district to use non-disparagement agreements or other documents to deny employees the right to disclose information about unlawful workplace harassment or discrimination. And on page 2 at paragraph 9, the new law, SB 807, passed in 2021. It represents that law that regarding maintenance of workplace harassment or discrimination complaint records.
Okay. Any questions from the board? Public? Online? All right. That takes us to first read Board Policy 4119.11, BP 4219. Oh, that's the same now, 4219.11, and Board Policy 4319.11, sexual harassment.
So to clarify on that, 4119.11 relates to our certificated employees. 4219.11 is regarding our classified employees, and 4319.11 is regarding our management employees. But they all reflect the similar changes. That it may be necessary to concurrently renew review a sexual harassment complaint under Title IX, which falls under Administrative Regulation 4119.12 and Administrative Regulation 4030, which is non-discrimination in employment.
Okay. And this language comes right from CSBA?
Correct.
Okay.
And one other thing it adds on page 2, paragraph 1, it adds a requirement to provide supportive measures to respondents. Originally, it only required it for complainants.
Okay, questions from the board? Public, online? No online? Okay. All right, next, first read board policy 5145.3, non-discrimination harassment.
So this is the policy regarding students. It primarily updates the protected groups to reflect the groups identified in Board Policy 410, which is also reflected in Equity Policy 415.
Okay, questions from the board? Public, online? All right. Next is first read board policy 5145.7, sexual harassment.
This is the sexual harassment policy regarding students. They're very minor revisions, mostly semantics.
Okay, questions from the board? Public, online? All right. Next, first read board policy 6146.1, high school graduation requirements.
And Dr. Huber is going to give a quick update on the change on this one.
Yeah, this simply brings us back to pre-COVID. If you'll recall, we had agreed with the recommendation from the state to lower the credits required for students who found themselves in particularly difficult situations due to the COVID outbreak and the ramifications afterwards. So this returns us to the previous course requirements in order to get a diploma from Folsom Cordova Unified School District. So it basically the sunsets with this class, the class of 2023.
All right. Questions from the board? Public, online? All right, that takes us to the final first read, which is board policy 6164.6, identification and education under section 504.
This one also has very minor revision in paragraph 1. The strikeouts throughout are the references to the related board policies, and CSBA's new format is for those to all appear at the end. So that's why those are stricken here.
All right. Questions from the board? Public, online? All right. That finishes agenda item 11, discussion. And that takes us to information. Item 12, volunteer and visitor management systems.
And this is an information item of a new system that we have piloted at 4 of our schools in the district, and we are looking to implement it at all schools. It's a way to help vet any of our folks coming onto our campuses as volunteers or visitors to check for Megan's Law, just to make sure that we have safety verifications for all folks coming onto our campuses. So it's an electronic system, and everything that it does in checking for the Megan's Law, any violators, is done electronically through the system and alerts the school principal if there is something we need to be concerned of before we allow that person onto campus. It also gives them an identification stick-on badge with their picture that shows that they've been cleared through the front office before they're on campus.
All right. I know it's just information, but any questions from the board? Public, online? No? All right. And that takes us to the superintendent's report, item 13. Superintendent Collegian.
Well, I want to welcome all of our students and staff and families back to the second semester. I know once we get past the winter holiday, that second semester flies by. But welcoming everyone back, and we had some wonderful news from the State Department of Education in the last week that of the 350 elementary schools recognized as California Distinguished Schools for Elementary Schools. 350 were selected, and there were 7 in the region for Sacramento. 5 of those 7 were in Folsom, Cordova. So we want to recognize and congratulate Riverview STEM, Mangini Ranch, Russell Ranch, Empire Oaks, and Sandra J. Gallardo. It's a lot of hard work by staff, by the administrators, by students, by families, and by the community. And just that articulated focus and moving all students forward. The state looks at different criteria on the dashboard, and they also look at socioeconomic data as well. So congratulations once again. And then earlier this evening, Ms. Cabrera mentioned the LCAP community input session that we're doing at DLAC on February 4th. We also have several more sessions that I'll be sending to the board. It'll also be in our board briefs tomorrow, notifying the public of all the community input sessions coming up. We've got several scheduled in the month of February. So by the end of February, we will have that community feedback, and we're doing those forums in person in Rancho Cordova and Folsom with our association members, with FCEA, CSEA, FCLA, with District Advisory Committee, and the big LCAP forums that we did once before COVID, at Cordova High School and Folsom High School. So that information will be forthcoming. Just wanted to let you know that you're welcome to all of them, as is our public and our representatives of our families and students. We welcome student voice there too. We'll also be at the SAB conducting an input session with your group as well.
Okay. That takes us to agenda item 15, board member reports. We'll start with board member Perez.
I just wanted to emphasize our student athletes tonight from Cordova that have worked diligently in maintaining the balance between academics and athletics. I know how challenging that can be. So congratulations to our new coach at Cordova High as well. I'm also really excited for these new curriculum courses for next fall. And then I also wanted to mention that having majority of the student board members be from Rancho Cordova actually represents the population of our minorities. And we discussed so much on how we can improve our Rancho schools. So my response to that is directed to all of our former Rancho Cordova student board members that have served to amplify the Rancho Cordova voice. So, and then I'm also really excited to announce that our student government at Cordova is planning a Sweetheart Winter Ball dance. So yeah, I'm really excited for that. Thank you.
Thank you. Board member Shrivastava.
No comment tonight, thanks.
Okay. Board member Lofthouse.
I also wanted to say thank you for the fall sports teams coming out tonight. I love seeing students in the audience, so it was enjoyable. It's nice to have positive recognition at our board meetings. I am very excited to see a lot of innovative opportunities for kids with the 23-24 course offerings that came through. I think it shows that our district is starting to think outside the box and really provide for students what they want and what they need. So I'm excited to see those. I really enjoyed watching the SAB meeting. I saw it on Instagram, so good job for getting it out there, and it's an awesome video. I am very excited for the board policy showing equitable representation between Folsom and Rancho Cordova students, and I wholeheartedly believe that our high school students believe in the democratic process and will choose the right person for the job, regardless of their school of attendance. Congratulations to our schools that earned the California Distinguished Awards. And I just wanted to reflect a little bit on our study session, as we didn't really have an opportunity to share out afterwards. I loved the opportunity to develop as a team, and I think it was imperative for us to work together as a team in that format and really get to know each other. I think that after our first meeting, I felt pretty disappointed that we kind of showed a lack of trust and transparency. And so after that meeting, I was a little more hopeful, and I continue to be more hopeful that we will continue to grow as a team, work together as a team and a single board. And I think that that's what we need to do to build that trust and transparency within our board and our district. So.
Thank you. Next, board member Clark.
Just a few things. Just want to thank Williamson, Cordova Gardens, Cordova Villa, And a big thanks to Cordova High for hosting their 8th grade orientation for the students of Mills and Mitchell. And that was on Tuesday. I want to send a special shout out to the leadership at Cordova Student Leadership and the Link crew for putting all that together. The only concern that I had, and I think I discussed it with the superintendent, was the tragic, well, it wasn't tragic. I mean, thank God he made it through, but the collapse with Damar Hamlin from the Buffalo Bills and how the medical emergency team was there to administer CPR and have a defibrillator out there. I know we have it at football. My question is, can we have it at volleyball? Can we have it at basketball? Even if it means that we've got to purchase some defibrillators to make sure that we have somebody there. I know the coaches are CPR certified, so they know how to use those. I just want to make sure that we have those for those sports that are indoors. I don't know how track would work, but even have something out there just in case. I mean, because it can happen not only at the pro level, not only at the college level. I've seen it happen at the high school level, so we need to be prepared to make sure that, we have that medical attention there. Like I said, football, you're there. The ambulance is on the backside of the field, but we don't have it for basketball, volleyball, soccer, or any other sports. So hopefully the board can look into that.
Yeah, and I did do a quick inventory since you asked me that ahead of time, and we do have 43 AEDs throughout all of our schools in the district. 15 of those are at our middle schools and high schools, and all of our coaches, when they go through CPR training, are also trained on how to use the AEDs.
Okay, perfect.
So, we can always look at expanding those, but we have multiple at our high school sites in particular.
Right. So are there any, close by for, volleyball or basketball, or?
In the gyms.
Are they in the gyms?
Yeah.
They're located throughout the campus and mostly populated for adults. Typically, your Performing Arts Center, your gymnasium, and the main office.
Okay.
So Folsom High has them on golf carts as well in case they need to roll somewhere. Vista has one on a golf cart, and Cordova has lots of golf carts, but we can get them another one put on there.
Okay, and you say golf carts, like if there's a basketball game,
It's in the gym.
It's in the gym. Okay, so I just want to make sure that it's there. All right, perfect, thank you.
Do the elementary schools also have them?
They do.
They do.
All right, let's see, Board Member Lorette.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed my time at Cordova High on Tuesday and wanted to thank our students for having an amazing program. And I was really excited because I know as a parent who has registered my children, when I get the list home of classes, I'm not always totally sure what we're registering for. So really wanted to commend them for putting a really good program together for those middle school students to be pretty educated when they take that paper home, and look forward to next week when the parents will be able to have a similar experience. And I think it's going to be a lot better experience registering. I think parents will have a lot more confidence going into that experience, having a little more education on that. Did just want to comment that when we are making changes at the sports level, that we are in fact looking at all the sports collectively, and that we're not making decisions based off of single sports. It was clear tonight that we definitely had student athletes that felt that their sports were diminished, and wanted to thank them for their comments and for being brave and coming up to the podium. That's a big thing. So just want to make sure that we're reflecting on that when we're making these movements and things like that with coaches, that we're considering all students and all athletes as we make those decisions going forward. That's it.
All right, Board Member Hui.
Thank you. I again want to thank our student athletes and our coaches that were here tonight. I'd love to share one quick story of, at least for me, something that was incredibly memorable during this cross-country season. And I think also just points out the importance of our coaches, our teachers, our staff. Vista Del Lago had an incredibly, I would say, emotional cross-country season with one of our athletes dying about a week before training started. Our coach, Coach Grove, handled that with a lot of grace, really cared for his athletes through the entire season. Starting really from the first race, all of the athletes were wearing green shorts to honor their friend that had passed away. This was her favorite color. And the memory that sticks out to me the most through this is the second to last race of the season. Our last race was at the state finals. We weren't super sure the boys team or the girls team would make it into that race, but particularly the girls team. So the boys had raced already. They got third in the qualifier, which got them into the finals. The girls team was racing immediately after. The week previously, they got fifth place. They had to get, I think, third place in this race to make it in. And the memory that sticks out to me the most is watching our girls come down the home stretch and hearing Coach Grove in my other ear screaming. Might have been some tears involved in that, and chasing those girls right down the home stretch because he knew that they would make it. That will stick with me for a long time. And so I just want to give my appreciation to the Groves, both the coaches, as well as our student athletes, in seeing them come to support one another. And again, not just appreciation for our coaches, but I know that all of our teachers, all of our staff, our campus monitors have this type of impact on our students. So thank you for all those that do play a role in our students' lives. It meant a lot to me personally, and I know it meant a lot to all of our other families.
Thank you. As for me, I visited actually all three of the comprehensive high schools over winter break, attended basketball games at all three, and attended soccer games at Vista and Folsom High. It was really great, getting to watch the sports, the winter sports. I will say that the indoor basketball games at all three schools were much better attended than the outdoor soccer games, but I kind of understand that a little, even though I was a soccer player growing up. One thing I would like to at least highlight to the superintendent and Mr. Washburn is when I was at Cordova High School at the gym, the lobby at Cordova High gym is in pretty bad shape, and that might be an understatement. There were missing tiles. There was a board that was boarded up a part of the wall. It looks like they might have even moved the trophy case to try to hide it up a little. It's such a small area. Could we not find some type of funds to make that a good impression? I mean, that's what all the public walks through to get into the gym, and that's a really bad first impression of Cordova High to visitors. Is that something we could look at?
Yes.
Okay. All right, cool. And then I would also like to just speak really quickly on the California Distinguished Schools. I mean, what an incredible honor that was bestowed upon FCUSD. But you know what? It was an honor, but what it really speaks to is the phenomenal education program that FCUSD puts on, and all of the teachers. It doesn't even matter if you're a teacher at one of the other schools that didn't get that award. I mean, it is a team effort, and for FCUSD to get five out of the 7 in Sacramento County, I mean, put it in context. FCUSD boundaries represent approximately 8% of the county population. 8%. Those 5 out of 7 schools represent 71% of the distinguished schools in Sacramento County. 8% of the population, but 71% of the schools that received the award. So incredible honor and something that all of FCUSD team, regardless if you're an administrator, a staff, a teacher, and the students, really deserve a huge congratulations. It is a nice honor. So that will be my comments for tonight. So let's move to agenda item 15, advanced planning. The next board meeting will be February 2nd, 2023. You have the 12-month calendar there for your reference. And that takes us to the suggested future agenda items. Are there any suggested future agenda items?
I do.
Okay, Board Member Laurent?
I would like to see if we could look into a feasibility study on a possible district split. I'd like to see if we could get a proposal from having either the Sacramento County Board of Ed or possibly Schools Services of California look at it to see how much that would cost and what the timeline would be to just start looking at a study. And then once we got the study, we could go from there.
When you say a school district split, you're talking about between the cities or?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're looking at a study? Is that
Yes, just a study. But we would need to look at both entities to see what that would entail, what that would cost, what a timeline would be.
Is that something that could potentially start with staff and then go from there?
Yes, definitely a staff looking into that.
I think it predates me, but I know some prior board members have spoken in the past that this was looked at. It might have predated Superintendent Collegian too, but apparently it's been looked at several times over the years, and it's been quite a while since it's been looked at. If it's staff driven initially, I mean I don't have any concerns, but do we have a consensus though on that? Anybody else?
Yeah, I mean, I think if we're talking about looking at it and what the possibilities would be, and directing the staff to at least give us a proposal for how we would even go about that, I don't see why we wouldn't want to do that. And we've been talking about supplemental funding for a long time. Probably asked Mr. Martin more times than he can remember, how much extra funding we would get if we were able to actually capture all the supplemental funding from our Rancho Cordova students. I don't know that these numbers are exact, so I'm not going to quote you on them, but I believe it's somewhere around right now we receive supplemental funding because we have around 35% of our students that are unduplicated. If it was over 55%, which Cordova would be if it was on its own, the numbers that I remember hearing are something around $8 million a year for Rancho Cordova if it was its own school district. And that's about 40%, less than 40% of our current students receiving $8 million a year extra. As far as I know, unless the funding formula changes, that would be ongoing every year. I also realize that means Folsom would be losing money. So whether or not it's a good idea, I don't know that any of us could probably say because we haven't looked into everything that much. So I think a study about that would make a lot of sense to even let us know if this is something we're talking about. I think about this a lot, but I do think if we're talking about an additional $8 million a year for Rancho Cordova, kind of, at least until the funding formula changes or the unduplicated pupil percentage changes, that's a significant amount of money. It almost feels irresponsible not to talk about something like this. So I'd certainly be in favor of looking at how much it would cost to have an outside study, and I don't know, I assume that entails a pros and cons list and what the process would be to go through it if we think this would be worth pursuing. I don't know that right now any of us know if it's worth pursuing. So I would be in favor of moving forward with a study.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, this is obviously a sensitive topic, and, I think if we're, if what we're asking is for staff to develop a report, do some analysis, pros and cons. I mean, obviously, I'm sure there's pros and cons on both sides. But, I guess there's no harm in doing that. And then the board can, look at that. I mean, very, very well could take a look at that and realize that it makes no sense to do that. But, yeah, I don't know. Is there any other comments on that?
I would just say that it needs to be full encompassing. Finances aren't the only thing that makes up a school district. And so I think that if you are looking at a study, it definitely needs to be more than just money, because people make up the most important part of a school district, and the impacts on our students and our teachers and our staff would be a high priority in any type of study like this. So,
and I think it also need to find out if the public even wants it, right? I mean, there's no point in going too far down this path if the residents of Rancho Cordova don't want it or the residents of Folsom don't want it. I mean, and I think, you know, at least again, when I think it was like 2012 or 13, that was the last time this issue was looked at. And I think it was at the request, I could be wrong, but I think it was at the request of board member Teresa Stanley and maybe board member Ed Short. I'm not sure about that. But, and back then it didn't make sense. And they didn't obviously pursue it, so.
Well, and I also think as a board, we also have to be aware that, and I've said this before about something else, like, I don't necessarily think that it is our responsibility to bring things forward as an item if it's not something that the district or our community wants. I think that that's sort of backwards. I think we are here to hear the community rather than bring things forward to the community. So I want to be leery about setting that precedent of us bringing forward things if it's not something that is wanted on either side.
Yeah, and I would agree with that. I think from what I've heard from our Rancho Cordova community, though, that has been kind of a rumbling through our community. And I know it became a hot topic also during COVID, that there was a lot of rumblings from both sides of the community that was something that they were kind of wanting to look at and evaluate.
This isn't something that we need to have on the agenda. I mean, this is going to take a while for staff to, okay. All right.
And it may need to be redirected at a study session because that's, and yes, it will take a lot of time on behalf of staff to prepare something like that. And if we decide to go down the path of surveying community and staff, that should probably be part of it as well. So
I believe there's Sac County Office of Ed things that are part of that as well, that would have a long time running, so.
Yeah, and we actually have a board member who volunteered to be on the county organizational committee, and I believe that's Mr. Clark. So there is a very scripted process by which, you know, we would have to follow as well. And it does go through Sacramento County Office of Education.
Yeah, Board President, maybe if I could recommend, I don't think any sort of substantial information would come before us anytime soon, but I wonder if soon we could have just an update around what the process, you know, would be, how much it might cost, to see if it is actually something we want to pursue, you know, before we put it on an agenda item later on.
Okay. All right. Well, let's give staff and the superintendent some time to think about this, and maybe the superintendent can report back on her thoughts when she's thought about it a little bit more. All right. But it sounds like we do have 3 votes to at least have some preliminary looking into the issue. So, all right.
Do you want to hear vote? Like, do we have to?
No,
Okay.
it's
Okay.
whether we have 3,
Okay.
3. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's see. I hate to ask, is there any other agenda items that folks want added to future agendas? I do have one that actually 2, but one is I would very much like to create an AI or artificial intelligence task force comprised largely of teachers. And I'm very concerned about this chat GPT. You know, everything that I've seen about this is very concerning from the standpoint of students not doing work and just simply going to chat GPT, and I understand there's other artificial intelligence platforms that are about to launch where you just simply go and say, I'd like a 1,500-word essay on Shakespeare visiting the moon. And it will produce a 1,500-word essay about Shakespeare visiting the moon. It could be anything. You could basically enter any parameters into it, and it will produce a logical, well thought out, articulated, whatever you ask it to do. It could be a term paper. And how are teachers to know whether the work product that is being handed in was through the hard effort and work of the student or the work of a supercomputer. I mean, this is really breaking new ground. And this product was just made available to the public over winter break. Before it was, I think they were beta testing it under a small membership audience. But now any of us can sign up for free and basically ask it to produce a product, a work paper. It doesn't, whether work or business or academic. Now, I suspect maybe some people much smarter than me have figured out solutions. Maybe there's something in the coding that would identify that this was done by a supercomputer rather than an individual. But conceivably, from what I understand, if 5 students entered in the same parameter, it would produce 5 different essays. It would never produce the exact same essay. So it's not like, one essay is produced and then it can be caught. So I think, we need to really think about this now before this goes too far down the path and we don't know how to handle it. And I think, right now might be a great time to have a teacher-led task force with administrators to really look into this and figure out what are the solutions? What are, and probably I forgot the technology. We have wonderful technology staff. Obviously, I think they need to have a role in it too. But anyway, I don't know, is there an interest in the board in creating potentially a task force, assuming the district doesn't already have one?
Yeah, we might want to start with having our ETIS experts give us an update on what you're talking about in this new technology, because we also have technology that we use that blocks certain things when it comes to electronic submissions and so forth. So we maybe have a discussion item of what we currently have, what could be on the horizon to counter, to be counterintuitive to what you're mentioning. But I think I would start there before we decide to form a task force.
That makes sense.
Do we need to beef up what we have? But we have technology plan. Maybe we take a look at that and we go to our experts in ETIS and start there.
All right. So would folks be open to a future discussion item on this artificial intelligence? And again, it's called CHAT, C-H-A-T, and then the initials GPT. Anybody have a concern? Okay. All right. The second issue that I'd like to have on a future agenda, and I think we probably should have talked about it at our special meeting earlier this month, but I think we need to have a conversation about virtual participation long-term and whether we are keeping it. We could potentially keep it. I can tell you that the vast majority of districts in the state have abandoned it. We are probably one of the last, or one of the few, I should say, that are allowing virtual participation. Not saying it's right or wrong, but I think we should at least have a conversation and see where that conversation takes us to.
Yeah, we probably need to look at AB 2449. We just talked about it at our SCOE superintendent's meeting, and about half the superintendents of the districts represented there are still, doing the live streaming and the virtual participation, and maybe half were not. But 2449 may make that all moot, because I think that part has to continue, the live streaming and the virtual participation. But it might be a good place to start is looking at what that legislation says and requires. And this is now post AB 361, which was what was guiding us through the pandemic.
And just to clarify, the board had already adopted a virtual streaming of our, like 4 years ago. And this is not what we're talking about. We're talking about people being able to call in and provide testimony. And so are you saying that that is included in the latest legislation?
I'm going to look it up and see, but it might be addressed in there as well, which is why I thought we should start with that piece.
So maybe a discussion item so that at least educate the board on what the status on that is. Okay. At CSBA, I mentioned it to a couple of people, and they were like, really? You're still doing that? And I said, yeah. I thought that might be important for the board to have a conversation about as well. All right. I should have asked, is there a consensus on that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So okay, I guess that's it on the advanced planning. That takes us, we handled all of our issues in closed session. So we do not need to return to closed session. So that takes us to adjournment. And if there is no objection, we will adjourn by unanimous consent. Hearing none, we're adjourned.